Hello everyone and welcome to another Little Nightmares video. Now this is not a theory as I'm still working on the connections between the Pale City and the Moor. So make sure you're subscribed for when that one does come out because yes, it will be coming relatively soon. I'm towards the end of it now. But of course, from the title of this video, you can tell that we're going to be talking about the possibility of Little Nightmares 3. And if we are even going to be seeing anything close or related this year. At the moment of writing this video, the 2-year anniversary has passed for Little Nightmares 2. I know, right? It's already been 2 years. And as a result of this, things are beginning to look a little bleak for any Little Nightmares fan. Hey, it could be worse. For instance, take Bendy and the Ink Machine. The first one came out in 2017, and we only recently saw the sequel that has been being worked on for years. So it is possible to have a lot of downtime and still return. Now, of course, it's no secret that I do follow Bandai Namco practically on nearly all of their social accounts, and also on their LinkedIn, as this is a great way and a great site for getting some details about the roles of jobs and some information coming. This strategy works quite well, as we've recently discovered that Itsjustjord Studios are moving forward with their new IP, and they're at the moment, I think, building levels and really going further, so that'll be another interesting site to see. So anyway, on with the video. So there is some good news, and that is Bandai Namco are still actively hiring people to work on Little Nightmares, as a few roles have been filled since my last video covering their LinkedIn shenanigans. And they also still claim that Little Nightmares is still a headline IP. We know that in the past there were 2 roles available for hire, associate producer and a producer. We can see that the associate producer role is no longer available, so one can assume that it has been filled successfully. Again, this is the good news, and the ball is still rolling, which again is the lifeline we kind of need. It still looks as if they still have one more position to fill. It looks like Bandai Namco are finding it difficult to fill, but I don't think it's because of the lack of opportunities they have or person applying. According to LinkedIn, over 140 applicants have applied for that job, but it seems that Bandai Namco are being very meticulous about who they hire, and again, that is a very good sign. And well, who can blame them? There is a lot to handle here, especially with Little Nightmares. It has to go in the correct direction in every aspect. But that is, again, really good news. It shows that they're not rushing to find someone just to fill in the gap so they can pump out titles left, right, and centre. They need to find a candidate that fits. And that's, again, good news for us and the fan base. I did do a video not long ago, well, I say not long ago, it was a while ago, where I talked about each of the roles on LinkedIn in more detail and what they require and provide. Now, I won't go through all this again because, of course, I don't want to bore you, and it's quite repetitive news in that regard. But if you are interested, there will be a link below. But this video is more about the possibility of Little Nightmares 3, rather than what's going on at LinkedIn at the moment. But LinkedIn, again, is a good source of information. That's why I have brought it up for the past, 3 minutes? But anyway, so of course we still do have the possibility of the leak, and this year will be the year we find out if it's actually credible. Luckily, 2 games are supposed to come before Little Nightmares 3, which were of course Dragon Ball Breakers and Armored Core. So far so good, as Dragon Ball Breakers actually released a little earlier than told on the leak. It was released, I believe, in October 2022, which was 1 quarter ahead. Perhaps the production was a bit quicker than they initially planned. But that leaves us with Armored Core. Now, we have until March for Armored Core to release, or even, have some indication of its release date, if you will. And this will then validate even more that the leaks could have been true. So that's definitely one thing we need to keep an eye out for. And then, of course, if it's true, then the leaks are looking very strong. And I know there's going to be a few of you in the comments already saying that the claims are fake because referring to the artwork and the logo, they are definitely fake as they were made by the wiki page and whatnot. But no, that's not the case. It might still be true. It's just that the logo might be a fan-made thing, and it doesn't mean the information was pulled from nowhere. Imagine this, the hackers, do their business, get into Bandai Namco, get all these lists and quarterly reports and whatnot. They didn't see any images anywhere on the documentation, as it's all very Excel sheets maybe. But of course, they Google away Little Nightmares 3 and find some sort of image that does the job for them. Yoink. adds it to an image, job done. They don't need to think about it anymore because, you know, the hackers probably don't even care about Little Nightmares 3. If anything, I believe they were targeting for the Elden Ring DLCs, which are also on there. But anyway, I digress. Now, with one elephant in the room is the studio that would be taking the reins. Of course, we have absolutely no idea. Everything is radio silent. Although that could be a good thing, as we saw from Very Little Nightmares, we knew nothing of the studio the whole time the game was being worked on. So it shows Bandai Namco are very good at keeping things very hush-hush. Those NDAs must cost a few souls. It's easy to think as perhaps they already have a studio working away and won't do anything until it's released, or at least a vertical slice of some sort. And for those that don't know, a vertical slice for like game development wise is basically the end result for what you want your game to be. So this is the kind of piece of media, like the 30-minute gameplay of the whole shebang. It's got everything in it. It's what you would want it to look like on the final day of building and blah blah blah. But that's what you would show to like a publisher and stuff. But again, you wouldn't really need that because Bandai Namco are the publisher. So unless they're saying, hey studio, go do this, bring us back what we would want to see in the end, and we'll let you know how it goes. And maybe that's what they could be doing, all on the hush hush. And of course, again, we won't hear anything until it's ready at least. So I mentioned before about a studio that was working with Little Nightmares and Bandai Namco in the past, and that was Supermassive Games. And wow, something has happened in that kind of regard that went under the radar, and it has to do with Stadia and the port of Little Nightmares. It seems I might have missed the first time around, but after researching for this video, I have come across something that I find rather interesting. So from what I can make out online and with some of the news around the interwebs, from what I have found, it appears that the Stadia version of Little Nightmares came before the Enhanced Edition. And something I wanted to point out about this was the wording of the promotion page on Supermassive Games' website, and it goes as follows. The Stadia page. As we continue to grow our relationship with Bandai Namco, we are delighted to take this further step by supporting them in bringing Little Nightmares 2 to the Stadia community. The Stadia version is free to claim for Stadia Pro members to add to their collection. Now, what I find interesting about this little section of text, as what they've put forward, is as we continue to grow our relationship with Bandai Namco. Now, this could just be, of course, referring to Bandai Namco and just publishing in general, as Supermassive Games' big push is the Dark Pictures anthology, so perhaps that could be the relationship they are possibly talking about. But something I'd like to think about is that all the porting and enhanced editions were for naught. Perhaps this was a way for Bandai Namco to give Supermassive Games the opportunity to tread the water with the Little Nightmares content. Perhaps saying, hey, you think you're comfortable here? You think you can make anything here? Perhaps Bandai are just literally letting them tread water in the Little Nightmares universe, so that when they are called upon, perhaps to even produce maybe a little team at Supermassive Games to solely focus on another Little Nightmares spin-off or some like DLC malarkey, they can do it because they have the experience, as they know because they've done the porting and the enhanced edition. Now, of course, they are very technical sides of stuff, so they haven't had any like real impact in the world building, level design, mechanics, and character design and things like that. One other thing that's interesting to point out is actually that Supermassive Games is rapidly expanding. Currently, at the moment of writing this video, they are looking for 45 new positions, and these all range from anything from character design to producer. Now, something interesting about this is Tardia Studios, while making Little Nightmares 1, were classed as an indie game, and of course, as they grew, got more funding, they ended up turning into a AA game. Not quite AAA quality, but not enough to be indie, just somewhere in the middle. I think AA is what people are coining that sort of in-between these days, so again, there it is, AA. But this means they didn't have a big budget for a big staff list, and if I remember rightly, there was only something about 50 employees working at Tardia Studios of the creation of Little Nightmares 1, or it's up to 50 or 60, around that sort of number. So it's awfully close to the 45 new positions, not to mention that of course they would have had some people already working on Little Nightmares because of course the enhanced edition, so they already had people familiar. Maybe that was another 10 they already had in the studio anyway, so another 45 of course would make 55 people working on a certain project. And again, all these roles are very new. A few of the roles do seem to be aimed at some like the anthology series, of course, like character animations and like it's very specific stuff. I'll show you screenshots, of course. But I really do hope that we get some news about Little Nightmares this year. I mean, the Twitter is still active. They're doing giveaways for the dioramas still, and it seems that someone is still there, so hopefully that's a good sign also. I hope that, of course, it gets revealed at some sort of event this year, like maybe Gamescom or E3, or something like that, where, you know, you'd present like a massive trailer like they did for Little Nightmares 2. I need some news. Give me some news. But I really do think this year is going to be a pivotal point for a lot of the fan base. I think this year, for instance, will be my last glimmer of hope. And if I don't hear anything by 2024, then I'm never going to expect it again. But I always wanted to find time to talk about Little Nightmares as a whole, and this is what this video is. And of course, we've got some more theory videos coming in the future, so I will always try to make things directed around Little Nightmares. Of course, the channel will have things in between to keep us busy in between, but I'm always going to keep my eye out for it. But hopefully, this is the year, and we do see something. We need something. Personally, for me, I believe I have a little bit of faith in the leaks, because so far so good. They've been close enough. So hopefully when Q1 comes around, we might see something. And we got a few months left before, you know, we give up on that front. We've also got the Little Nightmares port coming for mobile. So there is some still stuff coming this year, but we want new content. We need something. But of course, with that being said, let me know what you think in the comments below. Let me know how much patience you have left. But with that being said, have a lovely morning, day or night, wherever you are in the world. Remember, if you like Little Nightmares content, hit subscribe, and I'll see you all in the next Little Nightmares video.